West got kicked out of the Grammys with his wife Bianca and it was insane. I mean, Kanye is known for being crazy, but this reached a whole other level. Now, Kanye was wearing an all-black outfit and Bianca was in a long black fur coat. But then she removed her coat on the red carpet, revealing her nearly naked look with a nude hued sheer dress without any underwear or bra on. Now, she was pretty much naked and people were confused and also disgusted. Now, personally, I think it was not appropriate at all and it was just weird. Now, Kanye even stepped to the side so photographers could take photos of her. Again, it was just weird and gross and ugh. But the couple did not go inside the event. They actually walked the carpet and left. Then rumors swirled that the couple were escorted off the premises, having not been invited to the telecast. But speaking to a source close to the Grammys, Variety has refuted those claims. Instead, they write Kanye West walked the carpet, got in his car, and left. I don't know though. With pulling a stunt like that, they should have been kicked out. Now, Kanye then posted and deleted images from the evening on his Instagram account, captioning one of the photos with "Love Story." Now, Kanye was nominated last night for Best Rap Song for Carnival alongside Ty Dolla $ign, Rick the Kid, and Playboi Carti. Now, the track, which was released via his last album, Vultures 2, lost to Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us during the pre-show awards presentation. But why was he kicked out? Well, due to his and his wife's behavior on the red carpet. Now, this appearance marked Kanye's first time attending the Grammy Awards in 10 years. He last appeared at the event in 2015 when he was nominated for Best Rap Sung Collaboration and Best Rap Song for Bound 2 from his 2013 LP Yeezus. Now, at the ceremony, Kanye performed 4 or 5 seconds with Paul McCartney and Rihanna, but he also did something so disrespectful at that show as well. Kanye once again pulled his notorious award show interruption stunt whenever a white artist wins over Beyonce by taking the stage when Beck won Album of the Year with Morning Phase over Beyonce. I just know that the Grammys, if they want real artists to keep coming back, they need to stop playing with us. We ain't gonna play with them no more, Kanye said following the incident to E! News. Because when you keep on diminishing art and not respecting the craft and smacking people in the face after they deliver monumental feats of music, you've disrespected the inspiration. Now, Kanye was also supposed to perform at the 2022 Grammys, but was later asked not to by the organization. So he was banned from performing at the show. Why? Well, it was due to his concerning online behavior, a rep for him confirmed. In 2022, Kanye kinda went off the deep end, posting and saying a lot of offensive things, and a report stated that the decision was made partially because of the concerns over possible interactions between Kanye and the Grammys host Trevor Noah. Now, Kanye used a slur against Trevor in an Instagram post regarding comments that he made regarding Kanye's split with Kim Kardashian, resulting in a 24-hour ban from the platform for Kanye. However, Trevor appeared to distance himself from the Grammys' decision then, tweeting, "I said counsel Kanye, not cancel Kanye." But over the past couple of days, Kanye had also been spotted acting irrationally online. Now, prior to the event, he unfollowed everyone on Instagram with the exception of Taylor Swift. He shared a screenshot of his following list on his Instagram stories, noting this, which is just weird considering the history he and Taylor Swift have. I mean, him and Taylor have had a feud since 2009. It all started when Taylor was accepting her VMA for Best Female Video, and suddenly in the middle of her speech, Kanye stormed the stage and took the microphone from her and said the infamous line, "Yo Taylor, I'm really happy for you, I'ma let you finish, but Beyonce has one of the best videos of all time." Now, he ruined one of the biggest moments of Taylor's life and their feud ignited. There was some back and forth, but then actually in 2015 the pair were spotted together at the Grammys and seemingly made up, but that didn't last for long. In June of 2016, Kim Kardashian, Kanye's then wife, said she totally approved that regarding Taylor's knowledge of the lyrics of Famous before the song was released that Kanye had. Now, Kim added she totally knew that it was coming out, she wanted all of a sudden act like she didn't. "I swear my husband gets so for things when he was doing proper protocol and even called to get it approved." Now, in July, Kim released video footage of Kanye and Taylor on the phone discussing the song Famous. Now, Taylor had no idea that she was being recorded, but she did approve the lyric, "I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex, and was supportive of it. But then the internet turned on her. Now, it's important for me to point out that she did not know or approve the lyrics "I made that be famous," which is the line that she actually had a problem with. Taylor then posted a statement saying, "Where is the video of Kanye telling me he was going to call me that B in his song? It doesn't exist because it never happened. You don't get to control someone's emotional response to being called that B in front of the entire world," she wrote in a note. "I would very much like to be excluded from this narrative, one I've never asked to be a part of since 2009. Now, regardless of what Taylor said, everyone who wasn't a fan of her turned against her, with Kim and Kanye encouraging them. Then, in 2020, the full unedited version of the phone call came out, proving that Taylor never lied. She never approved the lyric "I made that be famous," like she said all along. Now, addressing the full video, Taylor posted on Instagram saying, "Instead of answering those who are asking how I feel about the video footage that leaked, proving that I was telling the truth the whole time about that call, you know, the one that was illegally recorded, that somebody edited and manipulated in order to frame me and put me, my family, and fans through hell for 4 years, swipe up to see what really matters." Now, Taylor then spoke about this during an interview with Time at the end of 2023, reflecting on her feud with Kanye, calling it a career death of sorts. "Make no mistake, my career was taken away from me," she told the outlet. "You have a fully manufactured frame job, an illegally recorded phone call, which Kim Kardashian edited and then put out to say to everyone that I was a liar. That took me down psychologically to a place I've never been before. I moved to a foreign country. I didn't leave a rental house for a year. I was afraid to get on phone calls. I pushed away most people in my life because I didn't trust anyone anymore. I went down really, really hard." So this kind of just proves that Kanye is really obsessed with Taylor, and again, it's just very, very weird. And then, of course, there's everything going on with his wife Bianca. Now, having her dressed like that on the red carpet is crazy, but it's not the first time something like this has happened. On January 13th, 2023, TMZ reported that Kanye and Bianca had secretly wed in a private ceremony. Now, many people online wondered about the legitimacy of this marriage, as Bianca looks exactly like Kim Kardashian, and many people were concerned for Bianca's well-being. Now, Kanye appears to control everything that she wears, and the looks are questionable at best. "Bianca, blink twice if you need help," has been a common comment on Instagram, while others have accused Kanye of dehumanizing his wife and exploiting her body for profit. Now, there's also speculation that Bianca's friends have expressed concerns about her relationship with Kanye. Now, it's also been said that her parents have concerns about her relationship with Kanye after they secretly tied the knot. Bianca's father, Leo, wanted to have a proper sit-down with Kanye and ask him what the hell he's thinking when he parades Bianca around like a trashy naked trophy pony, said a source who's close to Bianca. He wants to ask Kanye what he would do if his daughters North or Chicago were seen in public half naked in outfits encouraged by their husbands. Now, that statement was made actually over a year ago, and I wonder what they're thinking now about the stunt that the couple pulled last night, because it's just so icky and gross.
What's the best part about award shows? The disasters that happen live. Let's take a look at the worst ones in history. Of course, we have to start with the slap heard around the world at the 94th Academy Awards. I'm referring to the unmistakable sound of Will Smith's hand hitting Chris Rock's face during the 2022 Oscars. The incident unfolded as stand-up comedian Chris Rock was on stage to present the Best Documentary Award. He was telling jokes and roasting fellow actors when he told a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's shaved head that struck a nerve. He said, "Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it." G.I. Jane was a character with a shaved head played by Demi Moore actually in 1994. Smith, the former Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, laughed at first, but Pinkett Smith rolled her eyes and clearly didn't appreciate the joke. So the actress actually has alopecia, which is a condition that causes like intermittent hair loss. She's been very public about her struggles, and she shaves her head to try to come to terms with her condition. Now, seeing his wife's, discomfort and reaction must have triggered Smith to act. Within a moment, he walked up to Rock on stage and slapped the comedian across his face. In the confusion and shock, viewers wondered if the incident was scripted until Smith returned to his table, where he yelled at Rock with a voice full of emotion, "Keep my wife's name out your bleeping mouth." And he yelled that not once, but twice. Later in the show, Smith actually won Best Oscar for his role as Richard Williams in the Oscar-nominated movie King Richard. During a very tearful acceptance speech, he did apologize to the Academy and other nominees Emmys, but notably not Chris Rock. Sofia Vergara's pedestal gag at the 2014 Emmys. Now, at the 2014 Emmys, many feminist social media users and critics alike slammed a sight gag featuring Sofia Vergara and the Television Academy chairman Bruce Rosenblum. Now, the joke literally placed the Modern Family star on a slowly revolving pedestal with her curves on full display. Now, Rosenblum ended his very boring speech about the state of TV with what seemed like a justification of the body sells mentality. The bit was intended to be ironic and to show that someone can be hot, funny, and make fun of themselves. However, some found the bit offensive, calling it objectifying and stereotypical. Now, what truly matters is that, we never forget that our success is based on always giving the viewers something compelling to watch. Vergara didn't understand the backlash, and she said she thought the whole thing was kind of ridiculous. Now, she told Entertainment Weekly that she did not see the gag as demeaning. She said it's absolutely the opposite. It means that somebody can be hot and also funny and make fun of herself. She continued to add, saying somebody who has no sense of humor might find this offensive. Either way, audiences were not impressed, and they haven't done something like this since, so it definitely made an impact. The wrong Best Picture winner is named at the 89th Academy Awards. So February 26, 2017 is an Oscar night that will live in everyone's mind forever. Former Bonnie and Clyde co-stars Faye Dunaway and Warren Beatty were presenting the Best Picture category. Now, Beatty looked confused as he pulled the winner's name out of the red envelope and tossed it to Dunaway, who called out La La Land. The team behind, the musical rushed the stage and started gushing, giving thanks and suggesting that more people vow to make bold and diverse work. Now, during the second and third speeches, men in headsets started gathering on stage and inspecting envelopes while the faces of the cast and crew started to change. Producer Josh Horowitz then announced that Moonlight had actually won and held up the correct card. Shock spread throughout the entire theater, like many gasps were heard. People couldn't understand if this was all a joke or if it was for real. Moonlight cast basically hesitantly kind of walked up to the stage. Host Jimmy Kimmel blamed Steve Harvey and suggested everyone get statues. And Beatty, returned the microphone to explain that he wasn't trying to be funny. He had been given a duplicate envelope and card for the Best Actress in a Leading Role winner, which was Emma Stone from La La Land. Stone had received the award earlier in the night. It was talked about for so long, and honestly, I remember watching it live and I was just as confused, but I did find it hilarious. Kanye West interrupts Taylor Swift at the 2009 MTV Video Music Awards. You knew this was coming, obviously. It's arguably, the best worst one. Now, Kanye West is no stranger to controversy, but when he jumped on stage at the 2009 MTV Video Music Awards and stole the mic from the 19-year-old Taylor Swift's hands just as she started her acceptance speech for Best Female Video, he took it to another level. Apparently, he thought, his gal pal Beyonce deserved the award for Single Ladies more than the country pop singer. He said, "Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you and I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time." One of the best videos of all time, he said again, before actually returning the mic to Taylor, who looked really confused. As for Queen Bee, she invited Swift on stage with her as she accepted the Video of the Year award later that night. The beef between West and Swift has played on for years as both artists made diss tracks, took to social media, apologized, gave and then retracted forgiveness, and so on and so forth. Sean Spicer's joke falls flat at the 2017 Emmy Awards. Host Stephen Colbert invited an unwelcome guest to spice up his opening monologue at the 2017 Emmy Awards. Now, during a joke about making that year's show the most watched Emmy telecast ever, former White House press secretary Sean Spicer rolled in behind a replica of his infamous podium, just as Melissa McCarthy, who was in the audience a few rows away, does when she portrayed him on Saturday Night Live. Spicer declared, this is the largest audience to witness the Emmys, period, both in person and around the world. The joke referenced a lie Spicer was complicit in about the attendance numbers at the inauguration in January of that year. Hollywood and fans did not seem ready to laugh with Spicy, and many, like Kamal Najani, James Corden, Cal Penn, and Seth Rogen tweeted their disgust that he was given even a moment to redeem himself or look sympathetic. Harry Potter's Jason Isaacs posted a photo of the poisonous purveyor of lies at the bar at the Netflix party and posted that he has, just a giant festering kind of crowd around him. John Travolta mispronounces Idina Menzel's name at the 86 Academy Awards. John Travolta had one job to do at the 2014 Oscars, literally just one job, which was to introduce Frozen singer-actress Idina Menzel's performance moments of what would become that evening's best original song winner. Instead, he bizarrely welcomed Adele Dazeem to the stage. He said, "Please welcome the wickedly talented one and only Adele Dazeem." Most assumed he was inebriated, while some feared he literally had a stroke on stage. He blamed a frazzled entrance, an unexpected encounter with Goldie Hawn, and a change on the cue cards. Menzel let it go. You see what I did there? But not before playfully returning the favor the following year by asking Glom Gazingo to join her on stage and jokingly added, "It's not like it's gonna follow me around for the rest of my life or anything." Both moments were equally as funny, and the payback was clever. 2024 marked 10 years since that infamous moment, and Menzel celebrated the 10-year anniversary of that moment with a TikTok video posted, on March 2nd of last year, gently kind of poking fun at the name flub and wishing Adele Dazeem a happy birthday. She said, "Hey Adele Dazeem, it's Idina Menzel. I just wanted to say happy birthday, sending you so much love and positive energy. I hope you have the best day." And then she sang happy birthday. In the days after, Travolta uttered those two words, it became the butt of late night jokes on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. He said, "I'm your host, Jimmy Fallon," or as John Travolta would call me, Jalin Fajala. Now, Travolta released a statement on March 4th, 2014, addressing the incident and how it went viral. He said, "I've been beating myself up all day. Then I thought, what would Idina Menzel say? She'd say, let it go, let it go." Idina is incredibly talented, and I am so happy Frozen took home 2 Oscars Sunday night. This joke will surely live on for years to come. Jennifer Lawrence takes a tumble. Everyone made this, tumble before, just not, in front of so many eyeballs. Leave it to a performer known for being relatable to do the most relatable thing. Moments after she was announced as the winner of the Oscar for Best Actress at the 2013 Academy Awards for her role in Silver Linings Playbook, Jennifer Lawrence experienced what is likely every actor's worst nightmare, falling on the Dolby Theater steps. Fortunately, J-Law being J-Law, she managed to recover pretty smoothly. She said, "You guys are only standing up because I fell and you feel bad," as the audience gave her a standing ovation. Steve Harvey crowns the wrong Miss Universe. Who could ever forget the agonizing moment, that Steve Harvey crowned the wrong winner in front of thousands and millions actually of viewers watching live and at home. Harvey initially announced Miss Colombia as the winner before realizing his mistake and conceding that, Miss Philippines was actually the real queen. He said, "I'd like to apologize wholeheartedly to Miss Colombia and Miss Philippines for my huge mistake." Harvey tweeted following, the show saying, "I feel terrible." When looking back on the incident, he actually recalled it, saying the whole thing was painful and embarrassing. But according to Harvey, the mistake wasn't actually his fault. The host said that during rehearsal, they would only read 2 names, the second runner-up and Miss Universe. Harvey said, a last-minute change to read 3 names on stage the night of the show created the chaos. He said, "Well, in the teleprompter after I announced the second runner-up, the teleprompter said, and the new 2015 Miss Universe is ... So basically he's saying, it wasn't his fault, it was an honest mistake, but nonetheless, he has been so embarrassed by this and of course has not made this mistake again. Actually, he did one time, but that's another story for another time. Embarrassing! These celebrities have been kicked out of award shows for one reason or the other. You decide which one takes first place. First up, old dirty B word I can't say, so we will call him ODB. At the 1998 Grammys, he was kicked out of the 1998 award ceremony after a bizarre and profanity-laced outbursts on stage. ODB, whose real name was Russell Jones, was a member of the Wu-Tang Clan and had been nominated for several awards that night. However, things quickly took a turn for the worse. As the presenter was announcing the winner of the Best Rap Album category, ODB suddenly stormed the stage, grabbing the microphone and launching into a rant about how he was the real winner of the award. That feels very familiar. Didn't Kanye do that also? Anyway, the audience was shocked and embarrassed, and ODB was quickly escorted off stage by security. In the aftermath of the incident, ODB's team blamed the pressures of fame and the stress of the Grammy ceremony for his behavior. However, the incident marked a turning point in ODB's career, and he struggled with personal demons and substance dependence in the years that followed. Sean Young at the 2012 Oscars. Next, we have Sean Young, who was kicked out of the 2012 Academy Awards after a very bizarre incident involving a fight with a security guard. Young, who is best known for her roles in the films Blade Runner and No Way Out, had been attending the ceremony as a guest. However, things took a very weird turn for the worse when Young got into a fight with a security guard who was trying to escort her out of the building. According to eyewitnesses, Young became belligerent and started shouting at the guard, who eventually had to restrain her and call for backup. Young was actually placed under citizen's arrest and taken to the Hollywood police station. She was booked and released on $20,000 bail early the next Monday morning. After the incident, Young's publicist released a statement claiming that she had just been mistreated by the security guard and that she was planning to file a complaint. However, the incident marked a low point in Young's career, and she has since struggled to kind of regain her footing in the entertainment industry, which makes sense because honestly, I hate to say this and I hope I don't sound ridiculous, but I don't know who that woman is. She could be walking down the street. I still want to know her. Sorry to this woman. Christian Slater at the 1997 MTV Movie Awards. Christian Slater was kicked out of the MTV Movie Awards after a drunken brawl with a security guard. Slater, who was a rising star at the time, had been attending the ceremony to present an award. However, things took, again, another weird turn for the worse when Slater got into a fight with a security guard who was trying to escort him out of the building. According to some eyewitnesses, Slater was heavily intoxicated and became very combative when the guard tried to intervene. Slater's publicist released a statement apologizing for his behavior and just blaming it on excessive drinking. However, the incident marked a very low point in Slater's career. He has since, struggled to regain his spot in the entertainment world. Gary Busey at the 2008 Oscars. Gary Busey was kicked out at the 2008 Academy Awards after a very odd incident involving a fight with a photographer. Busey, who is best known for his roles in the films Buddy Holly and Point Break, had been attending the ceremony as a guest of honor. However, things took, again, another weird turn for the worse when Busey got into a fight with a photographer who was just trying to take his picture. Now, according to eyewitnesses, Busey became argumentative and started shouting at the photographer, who eventually actually had to call security. He also rushed Jennifer Garner and very inappropriately kissed her on the neck, to her surprise and everyone's. Busey's publicist released a statement apologizing for his behavior, blaming it on excessive stress. However, this marked a low point in Busey's career. We actually haven't seen much of him at all lately. Courtney Love at the 2001 Oscars. Courtney Love was kicked out of the 2001 Academy Awards after an incident involving a fight with a security guard. These celebrities love fighting guards, huh? They may be in the wrong profession. Love, who is best known as the lead singer of the rock band Hole and also famously was tied to the late Kurt Cobain, who she has a child with, had been attending the ceremony as a guest of honor as well. However, things got really strange when Love got into a really weird random fight with a security guard who was trying to escort her out of the building. According to eyewitnesses, Love became wild and started shouting at the guard, who eventually did have to call for backup. She was not invited again. Will Smith and Chris Rock at the 2022 Oscars, arguably one of the most shocking incidents in recent award show history. The altercation between Will Smith and Chris Rock at the 2022 Academy Awards. It was a night that will be remembered for years to come, and one that left many in the audience stunned and speechless. As Chris Rock took the stage to present an award, he made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's shaved head, saying, "Jada, I love you, G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it." Will Smith, who was seated in the audience with his wife, initially laughed at the joke. You could see him laughing, but after seeing Jada roll her eyes and obviously very visibly either upset or mad, he then got up, walked onto the stage where he slapped Chris Rock across the face pretty hard. The audience was shocked and stunned, as was I watching at home, with many people gasping in disbelief and not knowing at first if this was a bit for the show or if it was genuine. Once Will actually walked back to his seat, Chris was starting to speak, but Will shouted at him to keep his wife's name out his mouth. And he said it twice, so he meant business. It was at that point that people in the audience and at home realized that this wasn't a skit for the show. It was very, very real. Chris Rock actually handled it really professionally and with a lot of class. The incident was quickly censored on live television, although I did see it, but it sparked a heated debate on social media, with many people weighing in on whether Smith's actions were justified or not. So, he didn't actually get kicked out at that moment, although he probably probably should have, TBH, and he did go on to win an award and give a speech and everything, but he would afterwards be banned from attending the award ceremonies for like the next 10 years, so I guess that's fair. In the aftermath of the incident, Smith issued an apology to Rock and to the Academy, saying that his actions were unacceptable and inexcusable. Rock, for his part, has chosen not to press charges against Smith, but the incident has left a lasting impact on the entertainment industry. Kanye West and Taylor Swift at the 2009 VMAs. Next, we have Kanye West, who has had his fair share of controversy over the years. One of the most infamous incidents involving West was his outburst at the 2009 MTV Video Music Award. As Swift took the stage to accept her award, West suddenly appeared, grabbing the microphone and saying, "Taylor, I'm really happy for you and I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time." The audience was shocked and embarrassed, and Swift looked visibly shaken. Now, after the incident, West faced widespread backlash, including criticism from celebrities and industry professionals. He later apologized, of course, for his behavior, but the incident marked a turning point in his career, and their beef would continue for years, with even weirder altercations involving a line in one of his songs and his ex-wife Kim Kardashian being involved. Honestly, the Taylor-Kanye drama is so 2000s, it's above us now. So yes, he didn't really get banned, but he should have been, and that's why I included him. Mariah Carey and Nicki Minaj at the 2018 VMAs. Next, we have Mariah Carey and Nicki. Now, they got into a heated argument at the 2018 MTV Video Music Awards. The incident occurred backstage, where Carey and Minaj were both attending a pre-show party. According to some sources, the argument started when Minaj made a comment about Carey's music, which Carey took as a diss. Obviously, the exact details of what happened are somewhat disputed, but it's reported that the two singers got into a very heated exchange, with Minaj allegedly shouting at Carey, and Carey responding with a few choice words of her own. In the aftermath of the incident, both Carey and Minaj took to social media to address the altercation, with Carey, denying that she had been shaded by Minaj, and Minaj accusing Carey of being insecure and bitter. The most iconic response was from Carey, though, who responded to an interview when asked about Nicki, like she had, what she said about J-Lo at the time was that she didn't know her. She also said, that about Nicki. Now, Mariah just don't know nobody. I love that for her. They also had a feud on American Idol where they both were judges for one season. Because of these incidents, Mariah and Nicki were not technically banned from award shows, but there were things in place to ensure they wouldn't sit next to each other, cross paths, or have an opportunity to just interact with one another on red carpets or stages. Basically, these award shows just didn't want to give any chances of issues arising. Madonna and Elton John at the 2004 Q Awards. Next, we have Madonna and Elton John, who got into a very public feud at the 2004 Q Awards. The incident occurred when John actually made a comment about Madonna's music, saying that she had been so horrible to her fans. Madonna, who was in attendance at the ceremony, took offense with John's comment and responded with a few choice words of her own. The two musicians then got into a very heated exchange, with John allegedly shouting at Madonna and Madonna responding with some well-placed insults. In the aftermath of the incident, both Madonna and John took to the press to actually address the altercation, with Madonna denying that she had been rude to John, and John accusing Madonna of being selfish and very egotistic. Bjork and a reporter at the 2001 Oscars. Bjork, while wearing a very infamous swan dress, got into a very public altercation with a reporter at the 96 Academy Awards. The incident occurred when Bjork, who was nominated actually for Best Original Song for her work on the film Postcards from the Edge, was actually approached by a reporter on the red carpet. Now, according to some eyewitnesses, the reporter asked Bjork a series of invasive and personal questions, which Bjork took issue with. She then responded by just attacking the reporter, allegedly spitting on him and calling him names. This got her banned from attending any award ceremonies, which many people have mixed emotions about.
First up, we have Will Smith. Probably the most infamous Oscars moment of the last decade was when Will went on stage to slap the host Chris Rock after he made a joke about his wife Jada Pinkett Smith. In 2022, Will received a 10-year ban from the Academy, which means he will definitely not be attending this year's award show. Celebrities had their own opinions on the whole slapping ordeal, but what most people don't know is that the beef between the Smith and Chris Rock actually goes back several years, so the tension has always been there. Chris once took aim at Jada while he was hosting the 2016 Oscars because the couple had very publicly decided to boycott the event. At the time, their protest was due to the fact that no other actors of color were nominated for the second year in a row. Chris said, quote, "Jada boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited." He actually said this during his opening monologue, and it really seemed to sting the actress. The comedian also took a dig at Will at the very same time. He spoke about his performance in the movie Concussion and said that it's not fair that Will was this good and didn't get nominated. He then added that it's also not fair that Will was paid $20 million for Wild Wild West. It was such a burn that the couple were clearly not able to shake off. Next we have Justin Roiland. The creator and voice actor of Rick and Morty was fired from his own show after a series of disturbing allegations surfaced about him. Justin was also charged with felony DV against a former girlfriend for an incident that occurred in January of 2020. This resulted in him being charged with one felony count of false imprisonment by menace, violence, fraud, and deceit. If he was found guilty, he would have been facing 7 years in prison. Adult Swim then decided to cut ties with him, and they released a statement confirming that the beloved animated series will have to continue on without him. This news came as a massive shock to Rick and Morty fans because Justin is the voice of the two lead characters in the show, as well as various other ones. His attorney then released a statement saying, "To be clear, not only is Justin innocent, but we also have every expectation that this matter is on course to be dismissed once the district attorney's office has completed its methodical review of the evidence." But with everything else that eventually came out about Justin, like other shocking allegations, it seems like his career might have finally gone out the window, and it's not surprising that he won't be at the Oscars. Of course, we also have to mention Jussie Smollett. The Empire star became the center of controversy when it was revealed that he lied about being the target of a hate crime. In 2019, he claimed that he was brutally attacked by two men wearing ski masks in Chicago at 2 a.m. Jussie then went on Good Morning America to tell his story and said that he was forever changed by the event. But there was already skepticism swirling on social media at this time. He said that he didn't hand over his cell phone to police because he had private pictures and videos and numbers on there, and said that the attack felt like minutes, but it was probably only 30 seconds. Though a little more than 2 weeks after that alleged incident, Jussie was arrested and charged with filing a false police report. It was eventually revealed that he paid two brothers $3,500 to stage the attack in an effort to try and raise his show business profile. The actor was found guilty by a jury of 5 of the 6 felony disorderly conduct counts that he faced, one for each time he was accused of lying to the police. As a result, he was sentenced to 30 months probation and 150 days in jail. He's slowly making his way back to Hollywood these days, but it's doubtful that he would ever make it to the Oscars again. Next up, we have Amber Heard. After losing the highly publicized defamation trial brought against her by Johnny Depp, it would be very unlikely that the actress would ever return to the big screen, let alone the Oscars. Followers of the case were glued to their screens for the 6 weeks that the trial was live streamed, and many people felt that the testimonies brought against her were damning. In the end, Johnny was awarded $10 million in damages, while Amber was only awarded $2 million. Although in December, both of them agreed to a settlement where she would only have to pay him $1 million. In a statement, Johnny's attorney said that he would donate the money to charity because for him, the case was never about the money. In her own statement, Amber said that she had lost faith in the American legal system, and she also said that the settlement allows her to finally emancipate herself from their marriage. We now know that she's using an alias while she vacations across Europe with her girlfriend and her daughter. She's in Spain at the moment living her best life, which is what she's been doing since the trial ended. Considering that she needs a disguise just to travel around, returning to Hollywood might not be something that she's willing to do. Now let's talk about Lori Loughlin, because her reputation is in complete shambles. In 2019, several college coaches and officials became embroiled in the nationwide college admissions scandal, but what actually caused it to make headlines was the involvement of famous actors. Lori Loughlin, the star of Full House, and her husband Massimo Giuliani was said to have bribed college officials with $500,000 in exchange for having their 2 daughters appear to be on the USC crew team in order to get into the school. Despite the fact that their daughters Bella and Olivia Jade were completely unfamiliar with the sport, the couple pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit wire and mail fraud, and they were hit with an additional money laundering and bribery charges. Lori was sentenced to 2 months in prison and was expected to serve her full sentence because there was no time off for good behavior for less than a year in the federal system. Aside from the 2-month prison stint, she had to undergo 2 years of supervised release, conduct 100 hours hours of community service and pay a fine of $150,000. She released a statement admitting to the crime and said, "I thought I was acting out of love for my children, but in reality it only undermined and diminished my daughter's abilities and accomplishments." Felicity Huffman was also involved in the college admissions scandal along with her husband William H. Macy. Felicity made a so-called charitable contribution of $15,000 to participate in the college entrance exam, which was a cheating scheme on behalf of her eldest daughter, Sophia Grace May. The Desperate Housewives actress and her husband then made arrangements to do the same thing for their younger daughter, but they later decided against it. After she pleaded guilty to fraud charges, she was sentenced to 14 days in prison. She then had to publicly apologize for her role in the scandal, admitting she paid to improve her daughter's SAT scores. She said, "I want to apologize to the students who work hard every day to get into college, and to their parents who make tremendous sacrifices to support their children and do so honestly." Felicity and Lori were among dozens of wealthy parents who were charged with participating in schemes to bribe coaches and university insiders or cheat on entrance exams. The scandal, which drew in Hollywood stars, hedge fund millionaires, and athletic coaches, exemplified the advantages afforded to wealthy applicants and fueled debates about fairness and equity in admissions. Another actor who is banned from the Oscars is Isaiah Washington. He was among the original cast members of Grey's Anatomy, and he played Preston Burke. But in 2007, after the show's 3 successful seasons, it came out that he called his co-star Tia Knight a homophobic slur that starts with the letter F. This happened during an argument on set with actor Patrick Dempsey. The fallout was so bad for Isaiah that ABC decided not to renew his contract after that incident. He issued an apology at the time and denied using the word on the 2007 Golden Globes award show, but he later admitted to it during an interview on Larry King Live, where he admitted to using a number of obscenities that he wasn't proud of. He then tried to backpedal and claim that he did not mean to use the slur in a homophobic way. Instead, he used the word to describe someone who was being weak. But the incident greatly affected Tia Knight, who identified as gay. In fact, he had to reach out to his family for support after the altercation hit the headlines, because it really put a spotlight on his sexual orientation. In the end, Isaiah admitted that no one wanted to hire him after the scandal, and he recently revealed that he has retired from acting because, according to him, quote, "the haters won." Richard Gere is another famous actor who participated in a controversial Oscars incident, one which led to the Academy's decision to ban him from the awards. Back in 1993, Gere used his platform while presenting an award to criticize the Chinese government about the human rights violations underway in Tibet. His decision to not follow the script did not sit well at all with the Academy. They ended up banning him for as many as 2 decades for changing his speech. Gere said, quote, "Studios are interested in the possibility of making huge profits, but I'm still making the same films that I was making when I started. Small, interesting, character-driven, and narrative-driven stories. It hasn't impacted my life at all." Gere returned to the Oscars in 2013 when he joked by telling Huffington Post that apparently he has been rehabilitated. He said, "It seems if you stay around long enough, they forget that they've banned you." You gotta love that one. Next up, we have to talk about Jared Leto. Now, the actor has always been a bit of a controversial figure, but he's recently come under fire for his obnoxious method acting. This really came to light with the release of the movie Morbius. In order to prepare for his first role as Dr. Michael Morbius, Marvel's very first on-screen vampire, Jared put the crew through hell. He would remain in character for the duration of the shoot, even pretending to be disabled in between takes and using crutches on his bathroom breaks, all because his character in the movie could not walk. While speaking to Uproxx magazine, the director Daniel Espinosa confirmed this, and he said that his method acting became a major problem on set because he would take just too long to move around between each scene. Apparently, he even had to be given a wheelchair to move around in for the sake of speeding him up because he was just wasting that much time. The craziest part about this was the fact that the movie turned out to be a critical and box office failure, so all of his antics were for nothing. Jared does have a few good movies under his belt, but Morbius was just so bad that it completely destroyed his reputation as an actor, especially when you add that to his role as the Joker in the Suicide Squad. And lastly, how could we forget to talk about Shia LaBeouf? He's known for his bad behavior and questionable choices, which gave him a reputation of being one of the most obnoxious celebrities that Hollywood has ever produced. When he tried his hand at directing, he made a short film called Howard Cantor, which was shown at the Cannes Film Festival in May of 2012. It received significant acclaim and praise from critics everywhere, but no one realized that the script was actually stolen. It turned out that Shia copied word for word from a book by Daniel Close, and he did not give him credit at all. To make matters worse, when he was confronted about it, he apologized and then later revealed to have plagiarized all of his apologies from from other people. Add this disaster to the allegations made against him by FKA Twigs in 2021, and you can see why he's really problematic. The singer filed a bombshell lawsuit alleging that he was physically and verbally violent towards her during their relationship. She also made the claim that he would attack stray dogs in order to get into character for his film The Tax Collector. She even described a time when they were both in a car speeding towards LA and Shai was driving recklessly. He allegedly removed his seatbelt and threatened to crash the car unless she professed her love for him. So there's really no reason that he would be getting hired for any more projects.
And coming in at number 10 is Bradley Cooper. In 2019, when Bradley Cooper's directorial debut, A Star Is Born, starring himself and Lady Gaga, came out, it was the talk of the town. The movie was nominated for 8 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Original Song, Actress in a Leading Role, Adapted Screenplay, Sound Mixing, Cinematography, Actor in a Supporting Role, and Actor in a Leading Role for Bradley Cooper himself. But what surprised a lot of people, and embarrassed the star himself, was the seeming lack of a Best Director nomination. Now obviously having 8 Academy nominations for your film is nothing to scoff at by any means, but Bradley did mention this when asked by Oprah Winfrey during the taping of her special Super Soul Conversation. Cooper said, quote, "And the first thing I felt was embarrassment actually. Think about it, I felt embarrassed that I didn't do my part." But again, to reiterate and explain, he continued on saying, quote, "Even if I got the nomination, it should not give me any sense of whether I did my job or not. That's the trick, to make something that you believe in." So, while he did feel embarrassment, it was never his intention to win awards for the film in the first place, as he went on to explain. The shocking part was that he did receive the nomination from the British Academy, the Golden Globes, the Critics' Choice Awards, and the Directors Guild of America, so you can't really complain. In at number 9 is Brandon Block. Okay, this doesn't really count as a snub, technically, but kind of. If you ever watched this clip from the 2000 Brit Award for the Best Soundtrack, just be prepared to have absolutely no idea what is going on. It's pure chaos. I don't even know where to start with this one. I think the award ceremony itself, the Brit Award, is a little proud of thriving off of chaos, honestly. Well, at least at that time it was. The Spice Girls won an Outstanding Contribution to Music Award at this ceremony. First of all, we had Ronnie Wood, the guitarist from the Rolling Stones, being his usual self, inebriated, but he was going off about how everyone's too young to remember who the Stones were, and he was being really weird with this barely adult actress Thora Birch. Then, the video montage of the nominees begins to play. Now during or before this montage, British DJ Brandon Block was told by his friends that he had actually won Musician of the Year. But not only was that not true, he hadn't even been nominated at all. So, when the montage ended, and there he was standing on the stage before a winner had even been announced. Everyone was surprised, which prompted just a whole whack of more chaos, with verbal altercations between Ronnie Wood and the security trying their best to drag the DJ off of the stage. I think he may not have been even sober enough to actually be embarrassed, but I'm sure later on the embarrassment hit quite hard. Number 8. Kesha. For the 2018's Grammy Awards, Kesha was nominated for the Best Pop Solo Performance for her song Praying, which can move you to tears, honestly. It was all about coming out alive after going through some seriously messed up experiences with producer Dr. Luke, which was a huge story at the time and had dozens of other artists and fans coming to her support. The song also showed off the artist's natural singing voice, which before this had always been covered and altered with auto-tune thanks to the horrible practices of the ones in charge of producing her music. To have such deep meaning and significance behind a song, it was sure to come out on top, but unfortunately, Ed Sheeran had released Shape of You the same year, which had none of the same emotional backing, but was a really fun, popular, and even somewhat sexy song. So, when the time came for the winner to be announced, Ed Sheeran walked away with the win. While his song was nothing to scoff at, not at all, it still left a rather uncomfortable taste in the mouth for people who knew the story behind Kesha's Praying. If you guys like this kind of content, make sure you drop a like or even subscribe for more videos just like this one from us at Inform Overload. In at number 7 is John Hughes. The writer and director of hit teen movies like The Breakfast Club in 1985, Pretty in Pink and Ferris Bueller's Day Off in 1986, plus the screenwriter for comedies like National Lampoon's Vacation in 1983, Planes, Trains and Automobiles in 1987, and Home Alone in 1990, you'd think John Hughes would have been walking around with awards out the wazoo, but he actually never received a single nomination for any of those projects. In fact, on his IMDb, he only has 2 real award wins, one of which given after his passing at the Online Film and Television Association. Hughes received a Producer of the Year award in 1991 at the Show West Convention, but the worst part is that he has 2 nominations, both from the Stinkers Bad Movie Awards. One in 1993 for the worst resurrection of a TV show for Dennis the Menace, which I actually really liked as a kid, so that kind of feels unfair, but also in 1997 he was nominated for the worst screenplay for a film grossing more than $100 million using Hollywood math for Flubber, which I also didn't hate as a kid. Maybe I had bad taste. Am I wrong for being upset about this guy's lack of awards? You let me know. Number 6. Everyone involved in The Princess Bride. It's very strange when some of the most beloved movies never receive Academy Awards. In a year that included movies like Wall Street, The Untouchables, and The Last Emperor, 1987 had some real hits, which meant that unfortunately, The Princess Bride, probably one of the most memorable movies for so many people of all ages from that year, was pretty much snubbed from the 1988 Oscars. The Princess Bride only received 1 nomination, and that was for the Best Original Song. Instead, The Last Emperor pretty much steamrolled all other competition, and while that's totally understandable, it just feels wrong for Princess Bride to go almost completely unacknowledged. Does not make it any less fun to watch, and it still won all kinds of awards elsewhere. As most people know though, comedy movies do famously get it quite a little bit harder at the Oscars than dramas. Number 5. Michael K. Williams. While actor Michael K. Williams had been nominated in the past for his other TV works including Lovecraft Country, Bessie, Boardwalk Empire, The Night of and When They See Us, I think it's incredibly shocking for most fans of The Wire that the actor never received a nomination for his time as Omar Little. Omar was probably one of the greatest TV show characters of all time in a show that deserved way more than it ever got in terms of awards. Most people recognize the HBO show as one of the best shows out there, but funnily enough, it was only ever nominated for 2 Emmys, and not a single one of those nominations went to Michael K. Williams. In fact, his only nominations for Omar Little were at the NAACP Image Awards, for which he was nominated for Outstanding Actor in a Drama Series in 2007 and Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series in 2009. Like I said, the actor had received other nominations and wins for his other works before his passing in 2021, but the snub for his time as Omar Little was, in my opinion, just kind of insulting. Number 4. Public Enemy. Judging and giving an award for any form of art is a little difficult. It's all subjective, obviously. I think music, though, can be one of the more challenging media forms to judge an award for, with different songs giving off completely different vibes. But at the 34th Grammy Awards, Summertime by DJ Jazzy Jeff and Will Smith, aka The Fresh Prince, won over Apocalypse 91 The Enemy Strikes Back by Public Enemy, and I don't know about this one. Public Enemy put out a song that is pretty much required listening and an iconic staple of rap music. People ragged on The Fresh Prince's PG music, and while that did bring his songs down a little bit compared to others, it is true that his skill with the music was pretty much top notch. But when you compare the 2 songs that we're talking about here, especially in terms of their cultural impact and their place in the genre, it was just a little bit of an interesting choice to have Summertime come out on top. However, there doesn't seem to be much of a problem between the artists. In 2016, Public Enemy leader Chuck D said on Twitter, quote, "Will the Fresh Prince Smith just simply would outrhyme MCs longer till they would run out or get tired. This was his strong point out of Philly. Honestly, the music isn't made for the awards. Most art isn't. So I'm glad that the respect for the rival artist is still there. In at number 3 is Steve Carell. Steve Carell's portrayal of Michael Scott from the time he spent on The Office made him basically culturally immortal. The amount of quotable moments from that show, and they almost all come from Carell himself, ridiculous. Yet, Steve never received an Emmy win for any of it. Instead, during the 2008 and 2009 Emmy Awards, the Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series award went to Alec Baldwin twice for his time on 30 Rock. Steve has also been bested by Jim Parsons for The Big Bang Theory and Tony Shalhoub for Monk. What I find funny is that if you take a large group of people and you ask which of those shows I just mentioned have the biggest impact and are still being watched to this day, The Office would come in at number 1. And most of the reason for that goes to Steve Carell as Michael Scott. Personally, when his character leaves the show in the later seasons, I don't even find it as entertaining anymore. While he has been nominated for the win, his consistent losses just feels wrong. In at number 2 is Alfred Hitchcock. There are actually quite a few groundbreaking directors who have been repeatedly snubbed by the Oscars, including Francis Ford Coppola for The Godfather and Stanley Kubrick. But let's go back just a little bit further in time to one that is probably the most egregious. Alfred Hitchcock, the master of suspense and one of the granddaddies of cinema, has never won an Oscar. The director has received nominations at the very least for movies like Rebecca, Lifeboat, Spellbound, Rear Window, and of course Psycho, but he has never taken any of those wins home, which is just a ridiculously puzzling question. Now obviously, sometimes it's just because other films came out that stole the limelight more for that year, but almost none of those films have made impacts like any of Hitchcock's. While he did eventually get a Lifetime Achievement Award in 1968, it feels kind of strange and like the Academy was just saying, "Hey, buddy, sorry about that." Which, to me, makes it even more hilarious that for his acceptance speech, the man walked up and said, "Thank you very much indeed," and then he left the stage. What a boss. And in at number 1 is Ang Lee. At the 2006 Academy Awards, there was some truly awesome films that were in the running for Best Picture. Bennett Miller's Capote with the truly captivating performance from Philip Seymour Hoffman, Steven Spielberg's gut-wrenching Munich, George Clooney's Good Night and Good Luck, but I'm leaving out 2 here. The first one was the one that everyone thought was going to win, Ang Lee's groundbreaking and even more heart-wrenching gay love story Brokeback Mountain, with Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger giving some of the best performances I have ever seen. And then there was the film that actually won, Paul Haggis's Crash. Even Jack Nicholson, who was presenting the award, could be seen mouthing "whoa" when he saw that Crash was taking home the award. Crash was a drama that centered on racial unrest in LA, and while it's not a bad film, surrounded by the other films that year and standing against Brokeback Mountain, it was one of the biggest head scratches, and Paul Haggis himself, the director, even said in 2015, quote, "Was it the best film of the year? I don't think so."